What is up, Axie community? Thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video going viral in the community called Selling My Axies, and I'm going to react to Brycent. Shout out to Brycent, one of the biggest content creators, OGs in Axie. I'm going to react to him reacting because I think he has a really good reaction, and he also comes from a very different background than me. I've been playing Axie for just a few months. He's been in Axie for a long time. Also, guys, every video I give away 69 SLP. From just comment in the can't even speak, sorry, comment your Ronin address below. So on this last video we had a lot of comments. Just comment your Ronin address below. At the start of every video I do a random YouTube comment selector. Hey Fareed, man, you didn't put your Ronin address. You put some really good information. Dude, be realistic. There are hundreds of new. So he was mad at what I was saying. I'm sorry if I didn't give you a great take, but comment your Ronin address below. Any one of you could win this. Oh, he didn't comment either. 69 SLP every video we do. He didn't comment either. This is the most comments I've had to go through before, so man. Make sure you guys right now just comment your Ronin address, copy and paste it below. Did I not say this in the last video? Why did no one? Jeez, man, 6 comments. If you guys haven't already, hitting the like button really supports the channel, so thank you in advance. Smash that like button. Okay, I'm wondering if in my last video I'm seeing some Ronin addresses, but guys, this hurts me. So many of you could have won. Now I'm just wasting so much of the video. There we go. Here's our winner. Congratulations. And sorry for that wait. So I'm also going to give you a quick update on the current status of SLP. And if you guys can't see on my screen, I'm sending the money out to the winner right now. There's your own address, 69 SLP. Congratulations. So where are we at right now? In this video, it went really viral, 69,000 views on a channel with 5,000 subscribers. That's a lot. And basically he's saying that because of some decisions Axie has made, he's selling his Axies. At the time of this video, he actually sold all of his Axies. And I'll be reacting to this, but first off, let me show you something from Jiha's Twitter. Jiho, I'm not sure how you say his name. He's the CEO of Axie Infinity. And check this tweet out. D90 and D30 retention are essentially the same. And he puts his graph, and this is like, this means that after 30 days, everyone is still playing the game after 90 days. So a lot of people are saying they're quitting. They don't like where Axie's going. But what this graph shows is that the player retention is there. People aren't really leaving the game. You might have big creators on YouTube making these videos, but the data is showing that the player retention is still there. And so I just wanted to show this tweet from the CEO of Jiho's. All right, so let's get right into this video. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I really am grateful. I really appreciate the support. My last few videos have done great, so thank you guys. I genuinely am grateful. And I also live stream on Twitch. If you like to watch live streams of Axie and Valorant sometimes, my Twitch is in the video description below. So let's hop right into it. And make sure you comment your Ronin address below, because next video you might get a free 69 SLP.
Classy Axie. Let's see what you got going on here. Tell me why you sold all of your Axies.
As of September 14th, I have sold all of my Axies.
Now, before I get into this, I just want to say the reason I'm choosing to react to Brycent's video. Brycent is someone who has done very well in Axie. He's talked about this before. I think he has over $1 million unrealized paper gains from Axie, which is amazing, brother. Congratulations to you for that. But that puts you in a little bit of a different mind state than someone who's been in Axie for 2 months. Like Classy Axie right here. In his video, he talks about how he's only 3 months into Axie, and he acknowledges he's a little bit new, but at the same time, because of that, you haven't been able to reap a lot of the benefits from the price going up, right? If you were in Axie a year ago and had AXS tokens when they were $1 and now they're $50, you're sitting on money right now. So it's 2 different opinions, and that's why I want to analyze Brycent's reaction, because he comes from an Axie, I think he's in Loot Squad and they have hundreds of scholars. Like, he's in such a different situation than a lot of people in Axie. He is the Axie elite. And there's nothing wrong with that, brother, but that's who you are. You are an elite Axie member. The CEO of Axie Infinity, Jihaz, tweets at you. Look, this is from April, right? Almost a year ago. about half a year. Axie God Jiho followed me on Twitter. BRB going to cry out my happiness. And you'll see Jiho on Twitter retweet Brycent a lot. So there's obviously a friendship there. There's obviously a connection there. And that's not bad. I mean, it'd be awesome to know the CEO of Axie. But when you have that relationship, it does give you a little bit of bias towards the game, because every time you speak out bad against it, you're speaking out bad against your friend, Jiho. And do you want to speak out against the CEO of Axie when they support you and do so much for you? Probably not. So let's see what he has to say.
And I've been getting messages in my stream that are saying, yo, you need to react to this, you need to react to that. So when I heard that there was a guy named Classy, he's not, I love it when people start. He says in the title, why I sold all my Axies, Axie Infinity. What is up, Classy Axie? Let's see what you got going on here. Tell me why you sold all of your Axies.
As of September 14th, I have sold all of my Axies.
He's not lying. He did sell all of his Axies. He's letting us know that right off the top of the video. I love it when people start the video with exactly the point they're trying to get across. Let's keep going.
And I'm going to be telling you guys exactly why I sold my Axies and why I think that Axie Infinity might not be the best investment as of now. Now,
this is not a video about investment advice. Disclaimer, always do your own investment research. I'm just doing this video for educational and entertainment purposes.
I just don't...
Now, we're getting into the thick of things. Not only did he sell his Axies, but he thinks that Axie Infinity might not be the best investment. Now, I'm wondering if he means the best play-to-earn gaming investment or just the best crypto investment in general. Hopefully, he goes a little bit deeper.
I don't think
it matters. Whatever investment he's talking about, if you're going to put your money into Axie, I don't think it matters if it's talking about a play-to-earn game or a crypto project, just investment in general.
That investing into a game in which the developers are constantly disrespecting their investors is the most sound investment. Now, I understand that you want to...
So, right off the bat, throwing shots at Jiho, the team, he's saying they're disrespecting the player base. Oh man, this is going to get this thing right here. This is a...
See, and Brycent reacts to this like, wow, how is he saying they are disrespecting the player base? I mean, go to any Axie video, look at the comment section talking about SLP, and I could just go to one of my videos. People are upset, right? People are very, very upset. It's quite evident. You don't have to have a high IQ to see this. Just look at the comments. People are very irritated, and how can you just brush off something like the developers are disrespecting? They might not be intentionally. I don't think the developers are like, hey, we don't like the people that play our game. That makes no rational sense. Of course, the developers care about the people that play their game. But indirectly, some of the actions the developers have taken could show or be interpreted as disrespectful if you play Axie and it's your livelihood or you've invested a lot of money into it. You might interpret some of the developer actions as disrespectful, okay? So I don't think this is really something to brush off, because a lot of people are irritated in the community. And I'm not someone who's super irritated. I'm still long-term bullish on Axie, but I do think it's not really a contentious point or anything up for debate that some of the actions the developers have taken, the community has deemed disrespectful. I think this is it's not a fact, but I think most people would agree with me.
Is the most sound investment. Now, I understand that...
Unless you're friends with the developers like Brycent and you interact with them on Twitter and you might be in the high council. I'm not saying he's in the high council, but Brycent is not an average Axie investor or player, right? He's the elite Axie. And I'm not saying that as an insult, man. That's just who he is, you know? And good for him. Dude's probably changed his life.
You want to...
So, right off the bat, throwing shots at Jiho, the team, he's saying they're disrespecting. Get this thing right here. This is a steamy video. I can tell this is one of those
steamy,
videos
man. It's just
like
accurate.
Hot butt plant tank, where if you get double hot butt, you're playing it for 2 rounds, and in round 1, you're smacking some spicy stuff. Round 2, you're
See, he's reacting to this like an elite Axie player. There's nothing spicy about what he just said.
smacking some more spicy stuff, and man, Classy is getting spicy very early on.
A polished product, but I just don't think that the way you're doing it right now might be the most sound option in doing so. You know,
100%. The way you're doing it is not the best way, and that's all he's saying.
just because you're successful does not give you a platform to say whatever the hell you want and be okay with it. And I just want you to know that every time that you have these little Twitter debacles, that you're losing one more investor, and that'll add up, you know, in doves in the future. So with that being
Okay, so I guess some backstory. I think this is very much in alignment with the whole Classy getting blocked by Jiho and Psych Out and some others.
So the guy that made this video, not Brycent, but Classy Axie, he was blocked by Jiho, the founder of Axie, and the COO of Axie as well. He was blocked by them on Twitter just for having, it could be a little bit interpreted as aggressive, but he wasn't disrespectful. He was speaking his mind on the current state of Axie and where it's at, and he was blocked by the CEO and COO. How are you going to block an investor, someone that supports your game, for giving you some constructive criticism? You may not like it, but it's a really bad, disgusting look when the people that support you, that have changed your life and made your dream of making Axie, this big game, a reality, you're going to block them for constructive criticism? I'm interested to see what Brycent says to rationalize this.
Okay, so I guess some backstory. I think this is very much in alignment with the whole Classy getting blocked by Jiho and Psych Out and some.
Because I don't care who you are, but as a CEO of a big gaming company, you never want to treat your investors like that.
Others related to Axie. So I think that's what he meant by the disrespect, is like he's saying, you know, the Axie team can't just like pretend like people don't exist when they have problems or, you know, things of that sort that involve criticism. Keep going, Classy.
Said, I mean, until they fix the issues in Axie Infinity and the issues that I have addressed, I will not be investing in Axie Infinity anymore. Now getting right into it, Axie Infinity's co-founder, Psychout, has responded to me. This is what I said initially. I said, hey Psychout, I'd love to have you on to discuss issues regarding the Axie Infinity community. I put a link to the post, and I put thank you for your time. Now, what he does is he responds shortly after, and he says, your content has an underlying message of don't trust the team.
So really quickly, yeah. Well, I'll let him finish.
Which I don't like. Of course you're not going to like it. You're a developer in a game, and them not trusting you is a terrible thing. Okay.
Yo, it's just the way he said it. Of course you're not going to like it. You're a developer in a game. There's a lot to unpack here. I understand the perspective of Classy. He wants to be able to kind of drill Psych Out. So he wants to have him on his show. So he can.
And then he wants to have him show. He just wants to have a dialogue, brother.
Maybe they're like attacking. He doesn't want to admit his content does kind of give off the impression that Axie team can't be trusted.
His content does, and this is what I don't like. I don't like these elite Axie players saying that this guy's content gives off the feeling that you can't trust the developers. This is someone who invested into the game, not just a regular player, they invested. And he made content. Who cares what the tone of the content is? He literally is making content about your game. So for you to just say, oh, it has kind of this undertone of don't trust us, that's just an elitist way to dismiss his points. I hire scholars. I'm a manager. I like playing Axie. And I've seen so much outcry from my fans in the Philippines who are worried about their scholarships, how much they're earning. They're really worried. So it's not a big stretch for him to say that his content kind of has this undertone of not wanting to trust the team. Well, when all your scholars, everyone in the Philippines, Venezuela, these countries that are relying on Axie for their income, they don't trust the developers right now because their job salary has gone down so much. So when you have a manager perspective, and I assume this guy was a manager, Classy Axie, I don't know how many scholars Classy has, but when all your scholars and everyone who watches your content is asking you, when's SLP going to go up? What's going on? When are they going to fix the game? It seems to me that the majority of the community is worried. So if he's making content with the undertone that you probably shouldn't trust the developers, he's on point with the community. So I get being an elitist Axie player who's a multimillionaire from this game. I get why you want to side with Jiho. I get why you might be a bit more bullish and believe in this game, because if the game fails, your life will still be okay regardless. And I don't think Axie's going to fail, but I think it's just unfair to attack Classy for saying that most of his content has an underlying. And whenever you generalize, it's just a bad thing. When I was a teacher, they always said never generalize to a student, because then they think of these generalizations whenever they have academic failures. You never want to generalize and say that someone does something all the time, because it's most likely not true. To say that most of his content says don't trust, like, dude, he's supporting you making content. Put some respect on this guy's name. But then again, this is the CEO of Axie Infinity that he's in this Twitter debacle with right here. Sorry.
So he doesn't want to trust. So Psycho being
things that have
Psych Out is the CEO of Axie Infinity, also a multimillionaire probably from Axie Infinity. And you can't have your ego involved at all in this situation. And he's definitely flexing his ego and his pride a bit. His first response is, your content has an underlying message of don't trust the team, which I don't like. And Classy Axie responds with, of course you don't like it, you're the developer, which is pretty on point, right? Even Brycent kind of agreed with it and laughed at it because, yeah, why would you like my constructive criticism when it's going towards you? But you need to accept it. You need to put your pride and your ego over here and just have an open mind, even if it offends you, even if emotionally you want to clap back.
have never been done before. It takes time to get things right. Worst case is that we release bad code that gets us all wrecked. That said, we can definitely improve on the live operations, like more patches and information. This is great. If you stopped right here, I would have been happy.
Oh my God. What do you mean you would have been happy? Classy, this is what you asked for. The man has stated that he would give you patch notes and more information. But I understand it, because when someone puts but in front of anything, it's
about to be big facts.
Sometimes people feel like it just kind of discounts everything he said in this.
It does. Whenever you put but in, I like you, but it does discount. That's why in speech and technical writing, they tell you not to use but. There's other words you could use. However, but when you say but, it does kind of discount. It's just how speech works.
Sentence before. So let's see what Classy has to respond, because I can tell Classy's like, oh, you dangled a little something in front of me there, and then you just took it all away. And he doesn't seem too happy. But I think that this is a good compromise in terms of Psychout says, we can definitely improve live operations. And it's like he's alluding to the fact that we're probably going to get more than that, or more, patch notes and things like that. So he's listening in a sense to Classy, but I don't think Classy enjoys. Let's just keep going.
What he does, they always have that but, so they could be a little sly.
See, I knew he was going to say something about the but.
But we are currently focusing on developing Axie Origin, which we think can reach a broader market. The truth is, you're early, and that means...
Okay, so this tweet kind of confused me. He says, we can definitely improve on the live operations like patches and information, which is all Classy's really asking for. He's saying we just want patches, transparency. We want to know what's going on. But the CEO Psyched Out says, but we are focusing on developing Axie Origin V2, which we think can reach a broader market. So why do we need to reach a broader market when Axie, Jiho, the whole team said last week the reason they haven't implemented a SLP solution is because the servers can't handle an influx of players? So why are you spending time and resources developing Origin V2 to reach a broader market when you can't even handle the market you have already? This makes me think that they aren't actually concerned with the community as much. They think their game is steady. Look what Jiho's tweeted out today, right? The day 30 and day 90 player retention is the same, which basically means people aren't quitting. That's what I'm getting from Jiho's in this tweet. He's saying people aren't quitting after 90 days, but they're unhappy, and it's not good to keep your community unhappy. They might still be playing after 90 days, but let's see in another 180. And then I just don't get, why are we focusing on Axie Origin 2 when you can't even support your current market, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Means taking the good with the bad. Now, I didn't mention that at all. I don't know what's going on here. He just didn't read what I said before, but cool, right? So I go ahead.
Now, I will say, I think Psycho's response there was perfect. I think he got to the point. He said, hey, we could provide XYZ notes, but at the end of the day...
His response wasn't perfect. I think you're a little bit biased in the fact that you have business or friend relationships with a lot of the Axie members. And I don't know you, Brycent, but to a lot of us, Brycent, you kind of seem like, and this is almost a compliment, as a member of the Axie team, with how much content, how much influence you have, how I've seen you actually interact with them on Twitter. And I don't know if you've ever met up with Axie team members, but and they should give this guy a special platform because he's covered their game for a long time. He's been one of the leading content creators. But then I also, and let me know if you guys agree with this or not. From the outside, I see Brycent as almost that liaison between the players and the company, right? I see him kind of as the not a PR person, but the connection.
We're working on a new game.
So of course he thinks Psyched Out is making a great response, but I would love to hear Brycent Answer, why are we working on a new game to reach a broader market when we can't even handle the market we have?
Which is Axie Origin V2, which is going to be completely different, most likely, than the current game that is out. Now, it doesn't really help current players.
And why do we need a game that's totally different than the game that's out when no one has problems with the game that's out except for the price of SLP going down? Why not focus more on a solution for SLP in the servers instead of making a new game that's totally different, as they say, when you already have a massive market you can't even support?
Players are like, oh, I want more info. But in the grand scheme of things, the Axie team has done this in the past where they would do patches on different cards and things of that sort. And it really is up to you to investigate in the game to get a good sense of what those are. It's kind of like Easter eggs, and it's like, it's interesting.
Yeah, no, when you change stuff in the game, you don't want it to be an Easter egg. People don't want to have to search what's different and mess up in the game to find out, oh, there was a patch on that. Why would you make your patch notes and changes hidden like that and make them Easter eggs, as you say, when you could just make, like any other game, information, release it to the public, and you can all see how much has changed? Now, one reason I can think of is because in a lot of other games, when patch notes are released and the player base doesn't like the patch notes, then the company gets backlash, right? If you hide these patch notes, that wouldn't really allow for you to get any backlash because people might not know what they are. But I don't know why else you would make patch notes like Easter eggs in game fixes. I would think players of the game would want to know what changed.
They did the same thing when they changed the leaderboard in terms of the SLP payout. They waited and said, hey, community, go figure out what the new yield is for anyone who's above a certain level of MMR. It's kind of like a game. So the Axie team has done this previously in the past, which doesn't surprise me. I think it's, kind of cool. Patch notes would be great.
Why would it be cool to make the community figure out what's different with the game? No other games do this for a reason. I know Axie's new and it's on the cutting edge, but why make the gamers figure out what the changes are? Especially when a lot of them are just asking for transparency.
Right, but it isn't, in my opinion, like a need to have.
It's not a need to have, but I do think it's a negative. And the way you brush it off as being cool or interesting is just kind of that elitist Axie. And I feel like I'm attacking the guy now, but I just don't think it's a really unbiased outlook to be like, oh, well, the way they've done it like that before. Just because they did it like that before doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. I get you. I'm not surprised why they did it again, but why are you making patch notes and game changes hidden? It's a genuine question. It seems to me like the better way to do it would just to be provide that information.
Read that, and I go, the message has never been to not trust the team. The message has always been that the team should be more transparent with their progress and take some accountability with patch updates, which are practically non-existent at the moment.
And look at my man Siddhartha coming down below. Do you even read? Do you even read the monthly updates, Classy? What more transparency and updates are you asking for? Siddhartha's not playing any games. He just jumped straight in there at the bottom of that tweet.
If you guys have seen Axie Infinity's Twitter, all they've been talking about is, hey guys, if you trust us, the SLP price will go up. Hey guys, if you trust us, this will come out eventually. Hey guys, we're working.
I don't think they've ever said, hey guys, if you trust us, the SLP price will go up. I think that's a bit of a stretch.
It's 100% a bit of a stretch. He's trying to make a point, though, that their tweets, they never address what the community's talking about. They just kind of push it down the river. They say, hey, we see this, and just, he's right. Brycent's right. This guy is exaggerating, but he's doing that to make a point. They never actually address the issues that the community is talking about, at least not transparently. And yeah, of course, they never say, hey, if you trust us, the SLP price would go up. That'd be a great way to get a lawsuit from the SEC, right? It sounds like a security to me. Securities are when you get a return from the work of others. So if the company says, hey, trust us, we will make the price go up, you're expecting a return based off the work of others. So it'd literally be a security. So of course they would never say that. But they're basically in codified language are just pushing everything down the river and just saying, hey, look how successful our game has been in numbers. Look at the data. Like just today, G-Host is tweeting out, look how the players aren't quitting the game. Other day he tweeted out, look how many users are growing. And this is good for the game, but when you don't address the issues and you just say, look how well the game is doing, that kind of gives off the perception of just trust us and the price will go up. But you're right, yeah, they don't literally say that. They can't literally say that. It'd be a security.
I do, the Axie team and a lot of what Axie is like, it's very trust based in terms of
Wait.
The Axie team and a lot of
the Axie team and a lot of what you're not part of the Axie team, Brycent, are you? And he corrects himself, but that could be kind of telling. The Axie team and a lot of what he might see himself, like what I was saying earlier, from my perspective, it looks like he's part of the Axie team. He's not on salary, of course, right? He doesn't even need a salary. He's already rich from Axie, but he just maybe slipped up a bit there. I don't know.
What Axie is like, it's very trust based in terms of as the game grows, you have to understand that you are putting money in, the devs are putting time in, and they're cultivating a system that doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't make everyone happy. It's not the one size fits all answer. And me as an Axie content creator that leads from the forefront in terms of I've been able to benefit greatly from my platform off of Axie. I understand that other creators and other people could feel a little bit fed up with not getting the same level of, I guess, I don't know if they want to call it maybe acclaim or feeling like they're feeling left out. But at the end of the day, guys, none of us are getting insider information about what's happening.
I don't think, like I was saying earlier, Brycent's probably one of the biggest creators in this space, and the argument he's making here that some other creators might not feel like they're being heard as much, I don't think that's where Classy's coming from at all. I don't think Classy actually really cares about the views like that. I think he's just trying to make a semi-aggressive, constructive piece of criticism, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's all about how you receive it, but I don't think there's any jealousy of not being heard right here.
Happening with Axie or updates, so it's like you kind of got to wait and see.
On this thing, but we're not actually going to show you anything on it. Now, I don't know about you, but that's just not professional. I think that you're misconstruing it because I believe that what you've done thus far is incredible to magnitudes not even I would understand. But I do understand that the community wants to know that progress is being made and how it would look like, and this would alleviate a lot of the tension that they've been getting thus far. That's essentially what I say. So what he says is that's fine, but flaming us for building a closer connection to Mystic owners is really strange to me. They're true believers with massive skin in the game and will always have a special place in Axie Infinity. I'll comment on this later. They will even get special drops in the future.
I don't mind that. I do own a Mystic. I do own a Rhea. I love what Psycho is saying.
Yeah, of course he does, because he's an elitist Axie player. How many of you guys watching this video own a Mystic? Anyone? Probably 99% of you don't, right? 99.9% of the world can't pay thousands of dollars for a digital collectible, right? So I don't honestly get why Axie is trying to take care of Mystic owners so much. They don't need to. If you're a Mystic owner, you already own a valuable asset that's worth so much. What more? Why take care of them more, right? The people that power your game and ecosystem aren't really those people. So I think it needs to be more a quality of taking care of the little man, not just the big man.
Not gonna lie, Classy, I like the chances of me getting a special drop. You're gonna have to be very, very, very convincing as to why this is a bad.
But with all the problems that we have in Axie right now, what benefit does giving Mystic Axie owners a special item to give the rich people more riches? How's that going to help the game?
So I'm in full support of building a closer bond with Mystic owners, but not giving the masses any details regarding your new updates, the LAN gameplay, the Lunacia SDK is just unhealthy and leaves everything up to speculation. Things can change over time, and I'm sure it has.
He's got a point there. Everything in terms of LAN, the SDK, a lot of Axie, but dude, this is every play to earn game. There is a large level of speculation. Like, guilds are buying land assets, NFT assets, and other games just based on the speculation. People buy $40,000 Star Atlas ships based on the speculation of what could potentially happen. There is a level of transparency that people would like, but at the end of the day, I think in certain respects, there has to be some level of anonymity when it comes to the build process. Fair. So speculation is in every play to earn game.
And there's also so much difficulty when making software So I can understand not wanting to put updates out because, you know, you never know what errors and problems you'll have with the software. Maybe you put out this update and then down the road you have to change that update you talked about because of a new error in the software. So software is very complicated, and Axie Infinity is a pretty innovative idea as a game. It's kind of the beginning of the whole play to earn gaming ecosystem. But with that being said, there's probably over 100 other play to earn games. You have things like Gala Games, the founder of Zynga, you know, Farmville, all those games. The founder of Zynga is now working, it's called Gala Games. That's just one of many of the other play to earn competitors. But just because Axie is in first place right now, there's a great saying: be careful who you shit on climbing up the ladder, because you may just have to say hi to them on the way down the ladder. Axie's at the top right now, but be humble, be careful, because you may not always be at the top.
I don't think that's just an Axie Infinity related thing, but in terms of Mystic Axies, you guys know, anyone who's watched my videos, you know the story. I took out a $16,000 loan to buy my Mystic, one of the best purchases I've ever made, and it has paid, you know, dividends 10, 20 times over. But I don't think that there is any special click or bond in terms of like anything happening around Mystic Axie owners. Like, I'm not in any ridiculous like meta group chats where you're getting any additional information about the game or anything like that. It's just not happening. If it was happening, I wouldn't have any problem sharing it, because at the anything like that, it's just not happening. If it was happening, I wouldn't have any problem sharing it, because at the end of the day, transparency into the community is important. And just like I'm making this YouTube video reacting, Classy is making his video in terms of why he sold his Axies, and it's important to understand that every perspective matters. You can learn something from everyone.
For anybody that didn't know, first off, there is a high council that, I mean, from
so this part's really interesting to me in the video, and I'm probably diving too deep here into body language, but if you were just following what Brycent said, he said there's no private groups of people getting information. There's no private group of players that Axie's working with. All right, and then following up right after this, watch what happens.
This YouTube video reacting, Classy is perspective matters. You can learn something from everyone.
For anybody that didn't know, first off, there is a high council that, I mean, from KG Jan.
So he says right now there is a high council. There is a group of players that Axie is giving information to in advance, okay? And as soon as he says this, watch what Brycent does. He takes his hand and he goes to bite his nail, which is a sign of, you know, higher stress. And then he just leaves his finger by his mouth, which in body language, you cover up your mouth when you are trying to hold back saying something. I'm probably diving too deep here, but like I was saying earlier, Brycent is like the closest thing to an Axie employee that's a player, but he isn't really an Axie employee. So if anyone is on this high council, I feel like Brycent is, and his reaction just kind of makes me think that. But this is all speculation, so let's just watch it.
From others that I've spoken to, this apparently doesn't have any crazy information, but the devs have admitted to.
So Brycent's like, damn, he just leaked the high council,
leaking some type of information on their second, as well as all of that. I'm
supposed to bite his nail.
sure that you guys know about Project K, which was the land demo which released last year in December.
Yes.
Now that land update, obviously, it was a bare bones version.
Now that probably was just totally random, but I thought it was kind of interesting.
Of whatever is going to be developed right now. So all of the information that we have for the land gameplay was released last year, and I'm sure that, I don't know what they're doing right now, but I'm sure that whatever they're doing right now is not the same gameplay that was given in December of last year.
I think that so from the land perspective, right now we're not going to get updates on land. It's just understandable. We just need to understand that that's not going to happen, in terms of you're not going to get updates on land while they're working on V2, which is supposed to be the new battling system that changes everything for Axie, opens the game up to a more widespread audience. And it's important to understand,
why do we need to change the game of Axie and open it to a broader market when we can't even handle the market we have? The game is not boring. Like, it might be boring after playing it the same for months, but people aren't bored. The player retention base is still here. Why are we focusing on a new game?
understand that the
Can't
Axie
even
team
support
does
the
things
current
in
one.
increments. So they could have people working on land right now, but the majority of Axie developers are probably focused very highly on getting V2 across the line before the end of the year.
He puts
I'm really curious, why are we so focused on Axie V2?
As a final note,
if you have a good response, please put it in the comments.
Axie Infinity
genuinely
is
curious.
not a decentralized game yet. Maybe it will be one time far in the future, but we have a lot of things to build before that time. He goes, we test ideas with different groups all the time. That doesn't mean that they're final by any means. Once we have something final, we try to release it to the broader community at the same time.
Now, I will say that Psychout is entertaining this conversation a very good amount of time, and he's going back and forth with Classy. So from
Psychout should be entertaining this conversation because this is an investor in the company that has made his whole lifestyle. So I still don't like this elitist Axie kind of like sucking off, psyched out in the Axie team, but I get it. Brycent, he's in a tough place because he probably has business relationships or at least online friendships with these people, so he has to really be careful. Classy Axie is just some random Axie player with 5,000 YouTube subscribers. So Brycent can like kind of big man this guy, and it's not going to have any, nothing's going to happen.
From that perspective, I think Classy is getting a bit of an audience in terms of he's getting direct contact with Psychout. It might not be the way he wants it, but he's at least gotten Psychout's attention to the point to where they're chatting, they're having that conversation, and they're going back and forth with Discord.
And that, in respect to Psychout for actually responding on Twitter to some people. Psychout responds on Twitter a lot.
Of course.
Unless we do it in this way, there is a high chance of market manipulation. Now, I find this kind of funny. Axie King told me this reply and it resonated with me. What is so funny here is that Axie Infinity is a centralized game right now. I mean, Sky Mavis owns this product.
Axie Infinity is centralized. I think that it's going to stay centralized for a long time. I don't see anything wrong with that because if they were to decentralize Axie right now, you could have people voting on pretty much anything. Voting to ban land play from happening or they could vote to kick the Sky Mavis dev team off, and then someone else would have to come in and develop the game without any knowledge of how Ronin works or anything. So for now, the game being centralized is the best thing for Axie Infinity. Just my 2 cents.
Do you think, yes, if the game was decentralized, we could vote Sky Mavis off, but do you think people would really do that? Like just vote off the whole developers, and then what do we do? Pick random new developers and vote on that? I don't think the whole decentralized idea is actually a bad one, but could be.
Let's see what Classy thinks.
And they can manipulate whatever the hell they want. So I don't know how, some art leaks are going to cause a high chance of market manipulation, but this is what I say. Changing AXS breeding fees is market manipulation. Updating your investors or players on progress is not. Just telling somebody an art leak or something to look forward to or features that are coming is not market manipulation. What's market manipulation is changing AXS breeding fees from 4 to 2. And I'm not going to say anything, but if you guys do your research and you look back to the day that happened, you're going to see a giant price increase right before the announcement. I'm not saying anything, but something happened there.
So I can't speak on the price increase, but I will say that like in any economy, and Axie Infinity is looking to be like a full-fledged economy, it's important to take into account that things happen within economic systems. I mean, dude, how many stimulus checks did the United States print off when COVID happened to pretty much save the market? Or how many stocks has the United States and other countries bought up when markets were tanking just to artificially inflate the market and make it look like nothing is wrong? Balancing a free versus open economy is difficult. Now, you don't see Axie doing things like buying up Axies to fake a floor price or going ahead and just pumping out, additional resources like.
And it's really not that weird that the price of AXS went up before the announcement. People don't keep secrets, and I imagine that at the company, when they announced this change, some people could open their mouth a bit, and that could be why. I mean, why else does the price spike before the announcement's public? Come on, man. And it's not that far-fetched. How many people do you know that can't keep a secret, right? So imagine something like that at your company. There's going to be a huge opportunity to make a bunch of money, insider trading.
Out of thin air. So I think with things being on the blockchain, things are a bit more transparent. And I don't think, market manipulation is an idea around the breeding price. I think at the time, it's very important to understand that we can't have too many Axies at one time. We need to have a proper market fluctuation. So I really don't think the Axie team means any harm by changing the AXS breeding prices.
They don't, but why did the price spike before the announcement? Brycent, why did the price spike before the announcement? What caused that? Were people just lucky and they just knew the announcement was coming? Brycent's a smart guy. He knows. He's just being political right now.
somebody new information. So that's pretty much it. You know, like he said this, I'm done. That's so professional. It just, you need a PR team because you're going to keep losing investors like this. You can't.
Now, I will say this. The Axie team could benefit from having PR of some sort. I think they do have a decent staff.
They do.
But the problem is the entire Axie team works so hard at what they do that like they are pretty much, I think sometimes they like wear themselves too thin. Because I mean, you have Jiho, Psychout, Trung wearing so many hats, and they're amazing at what they do. But like their job shouldn't, like they shouldn't have to, you know, no offense to Classy, they shouldn't have to waste a lot of energy responding to tweets like this.
They shouldn't. That's why they need a PR team, because they should be, as a company, spending time addressing everyone in the community on social platforms that are upset. I agree. The COO and the CEO, their skill sets are too high to be spending time on Twitter engaging with people. But then you need to make a business decision and get a PR team, because you shouldn't not address those people, right? But the COO and CEO are not who should be doing it. So you're right, but the fault is still on Axie. If you want to be the COO and CEO and that's your PR, then you can't say I'm done and give up on hard conversations with people like Classy on Twitter. Classy's not a troll. He's a smart guy and he's putting out good points that a lot of people in the community agree with. But this is still on Axie's fault, right? They need to hire a PR team, and if they want to be the PR as the CEO and COO, then they need to act like it. But Brycent's right here. They have so much other things they could be working on. They shouldn't be wasting time on Twitter, and that's why you really should just invest in some PR.
In clearing their name. I think it's like, it's very counterproductive to what they're building.
100%.
To have to respond to tweets like this. So I do think maybe hiring someone to handle social media would be a good move, but I don't think they need a full-fledged PR team.
Maybe not a full-fledged PR team, but yeah, just a social media person. Someone whose full-time job is just taking care of people. You ever tweet at a big company on Twitter, like a complaint, and that company's Twitter account will respond to you fast, and they'll say, hey, send us a DM. That's what Axie needs. They need that 24/7 social media support, where maybe they can't provide answers to every negative social interaction, but they can at least social proof and look like they are trying to have an open mind and listen, right? Every comment matters. Right now, a lot of people in Axie's community feel left out. They don't feel like they're being listened to, and they're mad because of that. A simple fix is just getting that social media person who's there to, hey, what's your concern? Hey, please fill out this form. We'll get back to you as quick as possible. But not the COO and CEO of Axie. They should not be doing that.
And just say, I'm done. You can't just be like, hey, you know, if easy solution, sell your stuff. Or, you know, if you can't handle this, I suggest selling your assets and coming back later. That's not how it works.
Yeah, Classy speaks some big facts here.
How it works in terms of, I don't see anything wrong.
Works.
Well, it kind of is how it.
It's not kind of how it works. And now Brycent, from his elitist perspective, is going to try and rationalize what Psyched Out is doing. But you have this CEO talking to someone who's a very unsatisfied customer, mocking him, saying, yeah, sell your Axies now. If you don't like him, sell your Axies now, come back to the game later. You're telling someone, you're so confident in your company's success and cash flow and revenue and player base. You're so confident that you're out here telling a player to sell his assets. Can you not just see the condescending nature of that? And I get there in a Twitter debate, but you're not acting as Psyched Out. You're acting as the COO of Axie Infinity, and you got to be more professional, man. This is not how it works, Brycent. You're coming from that perspective of, you might even be part of the Axie team, Brycent. They might have you on a stealth salary. I don't think they do, but your perspective here is grossly coming off as Classy is kind of just, I don't know what to say here, but I don't like how he sides with Psyched Out and literally like all these things that from an unbiased perspective, like I don't even know Classy. I might be a manager in Axie and have a few scholars, but and I'm not mad at the game. I mean, the SLP price is low, but
it works in terms of, I don't see anything wrong with telling people to sell their assets if they don't like where the game is currently.
Well, when you're the COO of a company, you shouldn't be telling people if you don't like it to sell it. That's not professional.
But I also don't see anything wrong with Classy making a video saying why he sold his assets. I think both are valid. So this is interesting.
No, both are not valid. Psyched Out should not just quit and say, I'm done on a conversation. He needs to act more professional. He needs to act like the COO. Classy his video is valid. He's supporting the company by making that video, even if it's negative press. Look at Trump. Look what he did. Right, all press is good press. So at the end of the day, he's still your supporter, and you're over here, a millionaire from the game that he's supporting, saying, "I'm done. Yeah, just go sell your assets." That's not a great business decision. And from a perspective like mine, and I haven't sold my Axies, but I'm probably similar to Classy, as I had a few scholars and I've invested into the game. That puts a bad taste in my mouth too.
You need to invest into a PR team. You cannot just tell everybody that's giving reasonable points to go ahead and just leave your game. It's not professional, for one. You're representing the entire NFT play to earn space right now. How dare you do this?
Yeah.
You act like you're the only game out there that is, reasonable or good to play right now.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Axie Infinity is the only play-to-earn game out there that is reasonable, good to play, has an economic system. I kind of disagree with you there, bro, on that one.
Well, yeah, it's the elitist Axie mindset once again. Of course, you disagree with him. You disagreed with him on damn near like 75% of the points, bro. But if you took yourself out of your shoes from the past year and all these blessings that have been bestowed upon you, put yourself in someone's shoes in a third world country who's working, or maybe someone like me who's 2 to 3 months into the game. And I didn't even make a video selling all my Axies. I'm just reacting to this because I have a similar background to Classy. And I think this just illuminates, you have a very biased perspective here.
Good to play, has an economic system.
Brycent is right. Axie is the top of the play to earn pyramid right now. There isn't really a game as stable or that has some good incentives of it. But it is pretty disgusting to see the leader pretty much of the play to earn space right now saying, if you can't handle this, I suggest selling your assets and coming back. And here, I got to give a grain of salt to Alexander, because it's hard to act professional at all times. And he's on Twitter. It's just him, and he's just acting like himself. But you're the CEO, and you have a big voice for a big market right now. And you can't just be saying to people that are giving you good constructive criticism, hey, if you can't handle it, just sell your shit. We don't really care. Come back when it's later out of alpha. And Brycent is going to go on to try and make an argument to say that this is okay. Like, come on, Brycent. Like, how can you not see how biased you are, brother?
That is, reasonable or good to play right now.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Axie Infinity is the only play-to-earn game out there that is reasonable, good to play.
It is. He's right here, but there's a lot of other games coming out and in the future. And like I was saying earlier, be careful who you shit on the way up, because you might see them on the way down.
It has an economic system. I kind of disagree with you there, bro, on that one, Classy. They are the only game out. And I think as creators and just people in the space, we're not entitled to any additional information about Axie.
I can play other NFT games, and
we aren't. No one's entitled to anything in this world, right? But there's a set of ways as a business that you should handle your community, especially in gaming, right? So he's right. We're not entitled to anything, but would a change in what we're doing right now be beneficial to the community? Probably. You're right. We're not entitled to any information. But we're trying to talk about how we can improve the current status of the game and the relationship with the community.
You know what? I will. And that's exactly why I'm selling my Axies. And thank you very much for everybody watching this video. My name is no longer going to be Classy Axie. I will be changing my name most likely to Classy. So thank you very much.
And there it is. He's changed the name straight up Classy, taking the Axie out. My apologies. So Classy, he said he's selling his assets, and he's done so. He's leaving Axie for a period of time. Okay. So he's given us all the backstory at this point. I don't think he's like extremely in the wrong. I think Psychout handled it wonderfully.
Classy's not in the wrong. He's speaking for the community. Psychout, I mean, he's a human being like us all, but you really mean to tell me he handled it wonderfully? Once again, your elitism is showing here, brother. He did not handle it wonderfully. He handled it decent, but not too well, in my opinion. You can't say I'm done. You can't just say sell all your assets, come back later if you don't like the game. You can't mock the people who invest in you. You didn't handle it wonderfully, bro. You're exposing yourself.
But I think that, just at the end of the day, it's no different than anyone who leaves any other game. I think that a little bit of entitlement here, but Classy does make some decent points. I'm not going to say he's right. I'm not going to say he's completely...
A little bit of entitlement? A little bit of entitlement. That's ironic for you to say. Classy Axie's feeling entitled. He's speaking for a lot of people in the community, man.
Wrong. I can say that he went about it in a way that probably could have been handled better in terms of his audience with Psycho. But I mean,
no, I think Psych Out could have gone in a way that handled it better. I think Classy Axie did everything right.
He has his own opinions, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
Much for watching this video. I want everybody to know that this is exactly why I'm selling my Axies. It's not because.
And so that's all I got, man. Shout out to Brycent. I didn't mean to attack you in this video if I did. I just wanted to illuminate the two perspectives in Axie. We have people that have been in the game for years. We have people that are very new to the game. More people towards the latter. And let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought. Subscribe if you're new. Shout out to Brycent. Shout out to Classy Axie. I'll have their videos in the video description below. And God bless you all. Until next time.